insights and visions with us. In his keynote speech, our rotating chairman, Ken Hu, will talk through Huawei's business strategy for 2022 and highlight the value we are creating for our customers by pioneering digital solutions for a growing range of industries. We'll explore how Huawei's commitment to research and innovation is having a large impact on the ICT industry and how some of those innovations are speeding up a much-needed journey to a low-carbon society. Dr. Zhou Hong, President of the Institute of Strategic Research, will share with us the technologies the ICT industry needs to develop and the questions it needs to answer over the next 10, 30, and as far out as the next 50 years if our industry hopes to realize some of the visions we have for the future. Both of these speeches will be in Mandarin and will be simultaneously translated into 9 different languages as this event is live-streamed across the world. Following these speeches, we will open up the floor to questions from both here and online. The Q&A session will have consecutive translation and will last around 45 minutes. And I think we're about done, and without further ado, please join me in giving a very warm welcome to the stage to the President of the Institute of Strategic Research, Dr. Zhou Hong.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 19th Huawei Global Analyst Summit. It's my pleasure to share with you some scientific hypotheses and business visions we have for the future. The 18th century is the machine age, the 19th century is the electrical age, the 20th century is the information age. Then what will the 21st century be? I think the 21st century will be a fully intelligent one for the society. At the core of intelligence is sensing, connectivity, and computing capabilities that will lead to better understanding of the matter, phenomena, beings, and energy. In order to get there, in order to enter into an intelligent world, we will have to address enormous challenges. How can we provide much greater sensing, connectivity, and computing capabilities required for happy lives, efficient work, and environmental protection? We have to improve the capabilities by hundreds, even thousands of times. How can we create a viable path forward when ICT technology has seen a little, if any, breakthrough over the past few decades? Moving forward, we must come up with bold hypotheses and visions and push the limits of theories and technology to make a leap. Over the past decade, broadband communications, smart devices, AI, and cloud computing are rapidly evolving. Digital technology has enriched our lives, making it possible for us to call, surf the internet, send instant messages, navigate with the Maps app, use e-banking, and shop online. ICT has become an integral part of our lives. Meanwhile, in addition to those ICT technology, Huawei has been exploring with partners across industries as for how to enable different industries with ICT technology. For example, we have worked with automakers and telecom operators. We have run tests of connected cars on the highway. As we know, a human driver can respond to a situation within seconds thanks to the high-performance V2V and V2X connectivity. It is a high-performance 10-millisecond connectivity. We're able to improve the times of detection and response by 100 times. And we are able to shorten the 100-meter safety distance to 0.8 meters. And such a solution is able to improve road safety and capacity. The solution also supports a platooning, which can reduce jams and is able to save us 20% of fuel. kinetic cars can be used for remote driving, and which will generate new operational and service models. And we have also conducted trials in urban settings and found that beyond the line of sight and vehicle road coordination can increase traffic efficiency by 30% and reduce accidents by 90%. Today, ICT technology has been used in factories, hospitals, ports, coal mines, and other industries to enable digitization and intelligent transformation. In the future, we will see more fields benefit from the use of ICT technology. For example, fitness and well-being, wearable sensors, wireless communications, and cloud computing can be used to track fitness and health and manage chronic diseases. AI computing can speed up the development and screening of drugs and vaccines. ICT-enabled automated and intelligent robots, potentially everywhere, can improve people's lives and industrial productivity. ICT can also help build a greener, sustainable society. For example, it can enable more cost-effective and efficient solutions to energy conversion and scheduling, design of conversion catalysts and storage materials. In the hybrid digital world, ICT technology can contribute to the creation of lifelike, immersive experience, enriching people's lives, facilitating learning, and expediting iterative optimization in industries. Global digitization is growing at an exponential rate driven by intense demand. The global MBB data increased from 0.24 exabytes per month in 2010 to 60 exabytes per month in 2020, a 250-fold increase in 10 years. The MBB data in China grew from 0.033 exabytes per month in 2010 to 13 exabytes per month in 2020, a 400-fold increase. We believe digital technology will develop at a rate of over 100 times in the coming decade. Digitization will accelerate the development of humanity and the world. We have also noted that many theories and technology that we use today were proposed decades or even a century ago. We start to come across bottlenecks in their applications, such as the Nyquist sampling theorem and Shannon's theorem for communications, computability theory and von Neumann architecture for computing, and Moore's law for semiconductors. We hope that new hypotheses and visions will come into being and guide us to breakthroughs. Therefore, we are proposing 4 pairs of scientific hypotheses and business visions, and we want to explore and research these together with academia and industry partners. First, we should push the boundaries of knowledge through exploring science and cutting-edge technology, particularly in physics, chemistry, and biology. This will help us create new materials and components such as molecules, catalysts, and proteins, as well as new equipment and processes. I once had the opportunity to discuss with a professor about how to store photons and quantums. He proposed the concept of quantum storage in 1993. But at that time, few people believed it possible. There were doubts about storing light in the bottle and worries that this way of storing quantum would affect its state. Until 1998, Harvard physicist Leonard Howe and others slowed down light to 17 meters per second by applying electromagnetically induced transparency. In 2000, she was able to stop light for 1 minute. In 2006, John Pendry at Imperial College London and others put forward something similar to a photon black hole to trap the light. Now, many methods have been developed to realize quantum storage, paving the way for the implementation of quantum communications and quantum computing. To reduce power consumption and enhance reliability, we are also working with researchers to explore the thermal mechanism in semiconductors to see if we can create conditions to accelerate the conversion of optical phonons to acoustic phonons, reducing the thermal spots formed between the gate and the drain. Many of the superconducting quantum computers operate at millikelvin temperature. Some researchers are exploring ways such as freezing atoms with laser beams, lowering the temperature by 1 million times to nanokelvin temperature, approaching the limit of absolute zero, to see if more complex quantum phenomena would occur. Will it be possible to predict the properties of new materials through computation rather than lengthy experiments? The answer is positive. For example, using the Uzbek computation method, with computing power of 1 million core hours, we can calculate the major properties of molecules composed of up to 200 atoms. In 2017, through computation, researchers revealed the structure of a superhard tungsten pentaboride. This solved a puzzle that had plagued the scientific community for 60 years. In 2019, researchers computed and discovered that thorium decahydride, at pressures above 850,000 bars, exhibited amazing high-temperature superconductivity, and the critical temperature was found to be minus 112 degrees C. With more advanced computational chemistry, it's possible to identify better catalysts, chemical pharmaceuticals, biopharmaceuticals, and vaccines. Second, we will transcend biological limits to better understand nature and ourselves, going near and beyond human sensing, from sensory substitution to sensory enhancement, and from human to machine sensing. We can draw inspirations from nature. Through billions of years of evolution, animals have developed more acute sensing capabilities than machines and humans. Take vision as an example. Some spiders far outperform humans in detecting contours of objects and computing motion, which helps them prey. I think autonomous driving may need such spider eyes. Then there are frog eyes, which are highly sensitive to single photons and have excellent night vision. And also dogs. Dogs can smell 1,000 times better than humans. In addition, the enhanced sensing capabilities can add to our sensing and control of bodies. ECG, EEG, and PPG systems have not yet become widely affordable and democratized. There is a long way to go before we can all easily monitor the 8 body systems. In the future, new types of sensors can enable real-time, unobtrusive measurement of important health indicators such as blood pressure, blood sugar, and electrocardiograms. Brain-computer and muscle-computer interfaces can be developed to enhance human-machine interaction. It may even be possible for humans to communicate, work, drive, and play with thoughts. New experience of the hybrid digital world, such as 3D displays and tactile virtual reality, can be developed to bring physical sensations to the digital world.
Third, to better understand the world, solve problems, and create value, we need new computing models that are adaptive to different purposes and environments and easy to implement. With the advances in information theory, over a dozen computing models have emerged and seen wide adoption. For example, the butterfly structure in fast Fourier transform commonly seen in wireless and optical communications, the finite state machine model which supports state transition used in routers, and the most recent statistical and correlation-based models used in AI applications. They are the fruits of the hard work of generations of mathematicians and engineers. Should we stop here? No. I believe there's ample room for further exploration. As communication systems continue to evolve towards high frequency and high speed, there will be more challenges that come with nonlinear channels and components. Can we shift from the linear Fourier transform to the nonlinear inverse scattering transform to better match future applications? Statistical models that are widely used in today's AI computing cannot be explained or debugged and are highly energy efficient. To address this, can we learn from living creatures? An ant's brain consumes just 0.2 milliwatt of power, but can run around and process many activities like nesting, finding food, and herding aphids, without the need of deep learning or following the von Neumann architecture. In contrast, an autonomous vehicle consumes dozens or hundreds of watts, which is far less energy efficient than an ant. So, can we go beyond statistical and correlation-based AI computing models to invent mathematical logic-based, geometric manifold-based, or game theory-based computing models? Matrices are widely used in scientific computing. The complexity of multiplying two n by n matrices is the third power of n using the simple algorithm. In 1969, the Strassen algorithm, invented by the German mathematician, reduced the complexity to 2.807 power of n. By 2020, Virginia Williams from MIT and Josh Allman from Harvard proposed an algorithm reducing the complexity to the 2.372856 power of n. In terms of matrix computation, we're more focused on solving sparse linear systems of equations. There are a few billion people on Earth, but each person maintains no more than 200 relationships. In chip design, most component constraints are local. Peng Yang from Georgia Tech and his team created an algorithm with a complexity of the 2.3316 power of n and won the 2021 Best Paper Award from SODA, a leading symposium on computational theories. A few months ago, our mathematicians created a revised algorithm, further reducing the complexity to the 2.28 power of n, where the power is 0.0516 less. What does it mean? Well, if n equals 1 million, the computational complexity can be further reduced by about 45%. In terms of model implementation, a supercomputer often consumes immense power to deliver high performance. For example, 500 pflops of computing capacity requires 30 megawatts of power. However, a human brain can achieve about 30 pflops with just 20 watts of power, which is 80,000 times more efficient. Therefore, shall we go beyond the conventional computability theory and the von Neumann architecture to develop adaptive and more efficient computing models and explore new architectures and components? Fourth, going beyond the Shannon limit to unleash the full potential of ICT, stretching the limits of space and time. We may want to explore ways to build real-time global connections, helping converge the physical and digital worlds and connecting robots everywhere. Uncompressed human-sized holographic communication will require 2 Tbps of bandwidth and 1 to 5 milliseconds of latency. An autonomous vehicle with 12 cameras could generate up to 4 terabytes of data a day. And current 5G networks fall far short of providing such capability. Can we tackle these challenges theoretically and technologically? I believe so. In theory, if the physical world had memory, then we could move past Shannon's 3 theorems. From an engineering standpoint, one quantum cascade laser can emit hundreds of different wavelengths at the same time, generating 100 terabytes of traffic. A high-frequency attosecond laser, once developed, may even generate millions of terabytes. If these technologies are applied to wireless and optical communications, could we improve communication performance by up to 10,000-fold? To bridge scientific hypothesis and business vision, Huawei divides the innovation process into 5 interconnected stages, from hypothesis and vision to innovations in theory, technology, and business. Comparably, innovations related to hypothesis, visions, and fundamental science take longer time to yield results. We dare to seek answers through innovations in fundamental research. In addition to supporting Bohr quadrant innovations which are driven by interest, we hope to work with partners to drive innovations in the Pastor's quadrant. Together, we can extend the reach of scientific knowledge while simultaneously creating value through application. Based on these 4 pairs of hypotheses and visions and a focus on the Pastor's quadrant, we have identified 2 fundamental scientific questions and 8 technological challenges. The first scientific question is, how do machines perceive the world? And can we build models that teach machines how to understand the world? The second is about understanding the physiological mechanisms of the human body, including the working mechanisms of the 8 body systems, as well as human intentions and intelligence. The technological challenges are, for human-machine interfaces, how can we develop new sensing and control capabilities through brain-computer and muscle-computer interfaces, 3D displays, virtual touch, smell, taste, and others? How can we continuously and unobtrusively monitor blood pressure, blood sugar, and heart? Can we use strong AI to discover new chemical pharmaceuticals, biopharmaceuticals, and vaccines? How can we develop application-centric, efficient, automated, and intelligent software for greater value and better experience? In communications, how can we reach and circumvent Shannon's limit and deliver efficient, high-performance connectivity both regionally and globally? In computing, how can we develop more adaptive and efficient computing models, non-von Neumann architectures, unconventional components, and explainable and debuggable AI? In materials, how can we leverage AI to develop new molecules, catalysts, and components? In processes, can we go beyond CMOS fabrication process for lower cost and higher efficiency? In energy, can we develop safe and efficient energy conversion and storage, and on-demand services? With an open mind, Huawei is innovating with partners around the world. On April 30th, we will be launching Virtual Charles Park. It will serve as an open platform where people exchange ideas on science and technology. Through Charles Park, we will put together the most pressing challenges in the industry and invite the best minds around the world to take a crack at these challenges together. 30 years ago, when I was in college, people had to queue up to make a long-distance call. None of us could have imagined that one day we would be able to video chat with our families anytime, anywhere, with only a small wireless gadget. And today, we're using this same gadget to do much more, connecting ourselves with the rest of the world. It all would have sounded like science fiction to us back then. Everything we imagine today is too little for tomorrow. We wish to join hands with the academic community and industry partners to pull forward bold hypotheses, rethink fundamental theories, reshape architecture, and reinvent software. Together, we can create the future. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, President of the Institute of Strategic Research, Dr. Zhou Hong, thank you very much. That's certainly going to keep us on our toes for the next 10 years. In just a minute or two, we're going to invite our rotating chairman to share his business strategy with us. First, we have a video of the highlights of Huawei's 2021 year.
In 2021, we continued to find ourselves in a complex and volatile global environment. Despite that, we kept working with our global partners, created greater value for both our customers and society at large, and maintained solid operations. Our revenue was 636.8 billion yuan, and net profits amounted to 113.7 billion yuan. Huawei rose to number 44 on the Fortune 500 global list for 2021. From tech innovations to open ecosystems and creating social value, we will never stop exploring. In 2021, our total R&D expenditure amounted to 142.7 billion yuan, equaling 22.4% of the company's total revenue. We topped the global ranking of WIPO in 2021 with 6,952 patent applications. As a leader in innovation, Huawei provides high-quality mobile broadband services to more than 60 million people in remote villages in over 70 countries to reduce poverty. Working with carriers and partners, we have signed more than 3,000 commercial contracts for industrial 5G applications, using 5G to create more value across a range of industries. Huawei is also working to create a digital ecosystem where all players create and share value. To date, 267 Fortune Global 500 companies have chosen Huawei as their partner for digital transformation, and over 30,000 partners are working with us to serve the enterprise market. By the end of 2021, HarmonyOS had been deployed on more than 220 million Huawei devices, making it one of the world's fastest growing mobile device operating systems. The number of Huawei Cloud, Kunpeng, and Ascend developers continue to jump, further solidifying the foundation of the digital world. Huawei's Seeds for the Future program has trained more than 1.54 million digital professionals. The number of Huawei ICT academies has grown to 1,971 globally by the end of 2021. As an active contributor to a green and sustainable world, Huawei purchased 1.75 billion kilowatts of clean power, equivalent to reducing 848,000 tons of greenhouse gas emissions. The environment will benefit more than just us. The forest, oceans and wetlands also need this green revolution. We're using innovative technologies to protect nature and endangered species. We proudly work with the best minds from all over the world. Huawei ranked 8th on the Forbes list of the world's best employers in 2021. We believe open collaboration is the only path to shared progress and prosperity. Together, we're building for tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the second keynote speech, please join me in giving a very warm welcome to the stage our rotating chairman, Mr. Ken Hu.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Huawei Global Analyst Summit during the summer, and welcome to our beautiful Bantian campus. Thank you to all of you that have joined us online. Although you cannot make it here, but you are accessing the conference through the online conference. This year, we have slight change to the process. We just show you an animation that demonstrated our business results in 2021. You saw pretty figures and the achievements that we made. But in fact, to be honest with you, we know deeply that we are still faced with many challenges. We still have to work even harder to overcome the challenges. It won't happen without your support. So I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to all those that have joined us on site and online. Thank you for supporting us, showing interest in us and caring for us and helping us for so many years. Just now, Dr. Zhou spoke about Huawei's vision for the future. how we're going to live and how we're going to work. In particular, he addressed the important role of technology in the ways we live and work. If we look at his views from where we are right now, it may seem like a distant future. But if you look at the history of humanity, we realize that a lot of the changes started with bold visions and imagination, and then one step after another, they were turned into reality. That is a similar journey that Huawei is taking. My keynote here is going to bring you a little closer to the current times, and I would like to share with you how we are going to move into the future with the efforts that we are making. To start with, I would like to address innovation. The first word that may jump into your mind may be innovation. But when we are talking about innovation, the first word that comes into our mind is something different. You know, inside the company, whenever we talk about innovation, the first word that jumps into our mind is actually talent. You know, we've got a dedicated official website for talent recruitment, and yesterday we issued a very special recruitment statement, and it got reposted on the internet. It was a recruitment ad for the top minds. This was the effort that we made again and again to recruit top talent around the world. We want to identify talent and recruit them globally. In the recruitment notice, we said that we wanted you to come and work for us, no matter which country you come from, what major you study in, what university you study in, as long as you dream big into the future and you think that you are the right competent one for the position, please come to us. Then what does Huawei have to offer? We can offer you the thorniest challenge. We can offer you the platform and resources to support you to succeed and explore. That is the approach we have taken to innovation and push beyond the limits. We are attracting the world-class talent with world-class challenges together. Let's move forward innovation and exploration. Yesterday, someone asked me something about the recruitment notice, saying that Huawei is going to offer 5 times higher of compensation package. But what is the benchmark? 5 times more than what? I think that that is a question mark that the candidates can find out by coming to us. So inside Huawei, whenever we talk about innovation, we're actually, first of all, talking about talent. But having talent is not enough. We have to make intensive investments. And that is why you can see from the chart here, we are making very heavy investments into the R&D. We have an indicator called R&D intensity. That is the proportion of R&D investments divided by the annual revenue. Building on the 10% R&D intensity last year, we invested 22%. Despite the difficulties, we insist on heavy R&D investments. Naturally, some changes are taking place in the innovation environment. From an industry perspective, as Dr. Zhou pointed out, the classic theories, including Shannon's theorem, von Neumann architecture, Moore's law, are becoming bottlenecks and obstacles. Because of the unwarranted sanctions against Huawei, we now have difficulty in accessing certain advanced components. As a result, we are not able to maintain our leading position in some individual technologies. That doesn't mean that we have to stop here. It only means that we have to shift our focus. Now we are shifting our focus to systems engineering and try to make a breakthrough. Specifically, we are driving breakthroughs in 3 areas: fundamental theories, software, and architecture. These are the changes we have had in our beliefs and philosophies of innovation. Next, I would like to share with you the directions of our innovation and talk about some of the progress we have made. First, connectivity. As you know, Huawei is a top company providing connectivity in the world. And future demands of connections know no bounds. Let's envision the future. Industrial control scenarios will be different from what we have today. They will have much higher requirements for latency and reliability. So in the future, in order to satisfy such demands, we need to have a much better bandwidth, latency, and reliability. They need to be upped at least 10 times in order to satisfy these requirements. Then let's change gear and think about the home scenarios. If we were to enjoy ultra-high definition video, and if we were to have better experience of interaction through VR, AR, or even holographic communications, all of these applications would demand much higher capabilities of connectivity. And it's all about providing a truly lifelike, immersive experience. But even today's GigaHome solution doesn't have near enough bandwidth to meet this demand. So our goal is to bring, well, for sure we have to work with the industry partners. Our goal is to bring a 10 gigabyte per second experience everywhere. Please allow me to explain. Today, well, as all of us know, the speeds we are having actually is less than 1 gigabyte per second. Be it the wireless network or the fiber that you're using, you are actually getting less than 1 gigabyte per second. So it's a major leapfrog for us to get to 10 gigabyte per second. 2 years ago, we proposed the 5.5G for wireless. We have already developed and verified many of its key components. And today, at this year's Huawei Global Analyst Summit, we are also sharing our vision for F5.5G for fixed networks. We would like to work with industry to continue innovation in order to boost the bandwidth coverage and network experience so that they can be upped by more than 10 times. This is the vision we have for F5.5G. We hope to shape an image that the connectivity industry is actually a sunrise industry instead of a sunset industry. And we hope to push the connectivity industry towards limitless innovation. Next, computing. We are seeing exponential growth in demand for computing power. To give you an example, you may have more than one smartphone, right? We have far more computing power in our smartphones than in the Apollo guidance computer that first took astronauts to the moon back in the 60s. We estimate that by 2030, well, it's actually less than 10 years ahead of us, global demand for general-purpose computing will increase 10 times, and AI computing by 500 times. And that is why I call it exponential growth in demand for computing power. To address these, Huawei is redefining computing architectures to break through existing bottlenecks in computing performance and efficiency. We are doing this at several levels. First, at the level of individual computer nodes, we boldly propose a groundbreaking peer-to-peer computing model. This can help us make a break in the existing architecture for heterogeneous computing systems that are CPU-centric. Now we're coming across with some performance bottleneck with the existing architecture. We have noted that high-performance computing, AI, big data analytics, and such diversified computing will be in much greater demand. We will continue to build unified architecture for diversified computing. We will re-engineer foundational software like accelerators and compilers for the different processing units so that we're able to enhance software development efficiency and boost performance. Third, at the data center level, we will continue to innovate in cluster computing architectures and leverage our expertise in ICT domains. We want to enable integration of cloud computing, storage, network, and power technologies into a holistic unit. Essentially, we are turning data centers into individual supercomputers to exponentially boost performance and improve energy efficiency. So ultimately, we want to turn data center as a computer into a reality. Today, we have talked a lot about computing, and some of the stuff is really abstract. But at this year's HAS, we've got dedicated sessions on the different topics. You can know more about these topics in greater depth. Next, cloud. Huawei cloud services have been developing rapidly over the past few years. We have launched various new services, including those with various applications. And today, I want to put in a good word for our Huawei cloud team. I want to specially introduce to you a new service called Meta Studio, which is essentially a digital content pipeline. I will explain why we launched this service. Because we have realized that the digital and physical worlds are converging at a faster rate. The metaverse is just a word to describe this process. There will be even greater demand for quality digital content, and we launched Meta Studio to help satisfy this demand. To help you better understand the service and what it can offer, I will give you an example. You know, if we use digital means to produce a film, for example, a 90-minute 3D film, one step which is time-consuming is the rendering. Normally, it takes about 6 months to finish the rendering for such a 3D film, but with Meta Studio, the creators able to call the resources of Meta Studio on Huawei Cloud Service. We've actually got millions of rendering nodes. So what used to take 6 months, now you can do it in only 2 weeks. What a great progress. What is more, Meta Studio moves the entire content production process to the cloud, including editing and modeling, allowing the content creators to collaborate seamlessly from anywhere in the world, especially in times like the pandemic. This can shorten the film production cycle greatly. We very much look forward to more digital content generated with this cloud service. We hope that more creators can learn and use our Meta Studio and be a beneficiary of this service. Now let's talk about devices. You must want to ask about our smartphones. Well, it is such a shame that because of the chip shortage, our smartphone business declined sharply over the past 2 years. This is a real shame, not just for Huawei, but for consumers too. But that's a reality. But at the same time, when a door is closed, we find out there is a window opening for us. it gave us the opportunity to rethink our device business and how we should move forward. And we think that devices are more than just phones, right? We are all consumers. If you look at the gadgets you have in your bags, you realize that we are surrounded by all sorts of electronic devices. And most people are not looking for more devices, but a more intelligent, consumer-centric experience. We hope that such a fantastic experience can be delivered across different devices. We hope it should be enabled by artificial intelligence. That is why several years ago, we started to propose offering seamless AI live experience for consumers. This is the strategy we have defined and the focus of our innovation for the device business. Before the Spring Festival of 2022, Huawei released a new watch. That is what you are looking at in the picture. This watch is a medical-grade smartwatch with monitors for blood pressure. Well, it's able to help you monitor your blood pressure, oxygen levels, heart rates, and such. With authorization of the users, the data can be uploaded to the cloud, where big data and algorithms can be used to analyze the data and generate health reports. It can also provide you with health advice. As an ordinary consumer, you can leverage the data, and you can also allow your healthcare providers to have access to the information so that they can provide you with different kinds of medical advice. This is a typical example of what we are offering. It's not just an innovative watch, but we are offering more than that. It is a seamless, intelligent, consumer-centric smart health management service. Now we are rolling out similar things around other scenarios, including office, travel, entertainment, music, and such. We are offering services based on the diverse devices and software ecosystem. We are bringing brand new experiences through the different scenarios. These are the areas that we have made progress in innovation. At this year's HAS, you can also learn more about these topics in the various sessions. Please tune in. To us, innovation is all about creating value for customers and society. Looking forward, we see two major trends which present both challenges and opportunities to us, and we feel it's our mission to help address them. And these two trends are, first of all industries are going digital, and the world is setting its sights on low-carbon development. Now I want to talk about these two trends a little bit. Now Huawei is making an all-out effort to help the industries to go digital. For more than a decade, Huawei has been going through the digital transformation journey. We have learned lessons and we've got experience. So today, when we are discussing with the customers, we know where they're coming from. We feel for them because we have been through the problems that they face right now. We have noted that different organizations and industries are at different stages of the digital transformation journey. Some of them are moving further ahead, and some of them are still in the starting phase, and they are faced with different challenges. Then what should we do as we position ourselves as an enabler for digital transformation across the industries? We are going to help the customers address these problems and overcome the challenges. Now, let me share with you what we are going to do. in order to help these customers?
To start with, we're adapting our products to better meet the requirements of different industry scenarios. Huawei has been in the telecoms industry for 30 years, where we performed R&D and related innovations, and they're quite standardized. Take 5G as an example. It may come with different specifications, but it needed to follow the ITU standards. So we could use quite standardized products to deal with massive demand. And now there are over 2 million 5G base stations deployed around the world. They all follow the standard. But when it comes to the application in different industries, there will be differences and also challenges. Customers are confused, and so are Huawei when it just started. That means we have to rethink the ways of technical innovations about how Huawei's products could better understand customer needs. And allow me to again take 5G as an example. We know that 5G base stations are deployed above ground, sending signals over the air. But have you thought about deploying 5G base stations underground? After discussing with our customers, we realized that a 5G kit could also be used inside the mines, but we cannot just directly move the base stations from above the ground to underground, as there are safety standards like ways to prevent explosions. But with these adaptations, we can take the benefits of 5G underground, and by far we have helped over 200 coal mines install over 3,000 pieces of 5G equipment. There's another type of need when it comes to industry digitalization. Different companies are at different levels of technical development, and they face different scenarios. They hope we could provide them with prefabricated products that are easy to deploy and install. We think these requests are reasonable, as they could help to reduce the learning curve. For Huawei, we need to take one step forward in terms of integration and verification in advance. Simply put, we need to do the hard work on our end to make things simple for our customers and partners in various industries. Speaking of digitalization in different industries, there's another topic that we have to deal with: cloud. We know cloud is great, it's efficient, it saves resources. And organizations in different industries have already realized that it is an inevitable trend when it comes to cloud migration. But we see they are facing different kinds of problems during cloud adoption. And in general, they're either unwilling to use it, or they don't know how, or they're not using it well enough. What Huawei needs to do is to help customers address those problems. The not willing crowd is often worried about data security, and we can offer them several solutions. Systems that need greater resource elasticity can use public clouds. For more sensitive services with high requirements for data security, local dedicated clouds are the way to go. And then we can see eventually they could be moved to the public cloud. And there are folks who are not sure how to use cloud. Well, we can establish dedicated consulting teams to help them develop their own cloud migration plans. And on top of that, we also provide dedicated training on digital transformation to help get their talent up to speed. And finally, there are customers who are already using the cloud, but not to its potential because there are a lot of relevant technologies and the customers don't know how to adapt those to their scenarios. Everyone recognizes the value in AI, but are not sure how to incorporate it into their own business processes. So we need to put such capabilities to the cloud, and we need to provide them with more support so that they know how to make better use of these technologies and resources. So this is an animation, and it's from the case of a customer of ours, the port of Tianjin. And every year they process roughly 20 million containers, marking it one of the largest container ports in the world. And together we have helped to deal with their concern about how to make good use of cloud. Their daily scheduling is quite complicated. And in the past, if they wanted to develop an AI application to address it, they would need to purchase equipment, set up development environment, collect data, and then develop algorithms. And now with Huawei Cloud, such process could be greatly reduced as we could provide them with the resources and tools on the cloud to help them with their development. In the past, to develop an app on the scheduling, it could take them 3 to 6 months, but now it only takes about 2 to 4 weeks. And we're glad to see such improvement. That means we're in the right direction. And this year we come up with the concept, everything as a service. That means we offer infrastructure, technology, and Huawei's experience in digitalization as well as the successful cases from our customers, we can put those as cloud services and to make life a lot easier for our customers. And this way, by providing good services, these customers will not find difficulties in cloud migration. Recently, people often ask about Huawei's integrated teams. Well, I would like to take this summit's opportunity to share with you the related information. I'd like to explain why we established them and what role they play in helping industries go digital. Well, the reasons were because of the difficulties we faced. As you know, we have a large array of advanced technology. But when we were discussing with customers, we felt that they also faced a lot of problems. We had the technologies, but they seemed to not be able to perfectly address a customer's needs. It may be because it was not a suitable technology or not a suitable technology portfolio. And then we thought of changing the organizational structure where we have the innovation of integrated teams. They bring together experts from fields including sales, requirement management, industry solution, development, ecosystem partnerships, and services. So this is the new form of organization, and each team is dedicated to one specific industry. Again, one specific industry only for one team, where members in that team can try to gain in-depth understanding of the industry as well as the customers' challenges. In this way, we could tighten vertical integration, allowing R&D teams to more effectively understand and respond to customers' needs. And such teams can also help us tighten horizontal resource integration, identify customers' key business scenarios, and provide targeted solutions. And this model has proved to be effective. For example, our coal mine team, one of the earliest integrated teams, did quite a lot of work. And soon we will launch Mine Harmony, which is a branch of Harmony OS dedicated to the coal mining sector. It is able to address the problems of the lack of connectivity between all types of mining equipment. Our customers said, and I quote, "Different devices recognize each other now, so robots can collect all necessary data in one trip." In the past, to develop such an operating system, it would be quite a difficult task. But now, with this tightly integrated team, we were able to better understand the customer's needs and respond to them directly within just a few months of time. Such time frame would have been unimaginable in the past. And this is just an example from the coal mine team. We have also set up integrated teams for customs and ports, smart roads, and others. And for these integrated teams, again, each one of them only targets at one specific industry, where we would not try to cover every single aspect. Instead, we want to focus on the most pressing challenges, the biggest headaches. For example, in ports, remote control, unmanned trucks, AI planning are the customer's biggest bottlenecks. And we hope to focus on addressing those top challenges to make breakthrough. And to tell the truth, we have just started, and integrated teams are in the early stages of piloting. And we hope our customers and partners will continue to support these efforts. And during our exploration, we may fail in some industries because Huawei is a technology-limited company. It's not a technology-unlimited company. We cannot be able to address every single aspect, but we hope to move along the track as I have just explained, because I think this is the only way where we can help our traditional enterprises to address the most difficult, most tiring, most arduous tasks during digital transformation. And only when we do that can we help them with digitalization. Just now I talk about digitalization in different industries. Now I'd like to talk about how we can focus on the opportunities presented by decarbonization. We think during the process of decarbonization, digital technology is a key enabler. And what can Huawei do? There are two focuses from our side that would be optimizing energy supply and consumption. In terms of energy supply, we hope that we could leverage our experience in digital technologies and electronic technologies to improve the share of renewable energy, especially solar energy. And in this way, we could redefine PV with digital technology. Like we could introduce technologies such as cloud and AI, as well as power line carriers during network deployment and O&M. In this way, we could help customers to greatly improve their O&M efficiency and to reduce deployment costs, while at the same time increasing power yields. And this is an example in Qinghai Gobi, China. We helped the customer to build the world's largest single-site solar power station with an installed capacity of 2.2 gigawatts. And the technologies I mentioned just now were incorporated in this solution. With this, we have increased its energy yield by more than 2% and O&M efficiency by over 50%. And again, this is about the energy supply side. As for the energy consumption side, we're doing much more. At this year's MWC Barcelona, we came up with the concept of carbon handprint. And that means we need to take a proactive role in leveraging ICT technologies to empower different industries so that by leveraging ICT technologies, those industries' energy consumptions could be reduced. And there's another focus where we want to reduce the energy consumption in the ICT industry itself. Or in other words, to reduce the carbon footprint in the ICT industry. Here we focus on two areas: communication sites and data centers. And there are around 10 million wireless sites worldwide, which could present great value to the ICT industry if their energy consumption reduces. And at Huawei, we're using simplified architecture design. a greater proportion of renewable energy, including solar energy, as well as AI to optimize system-level energy efficiency. We could also replace indoor sites with integrated outdoor cabinets so that no equipment rooms or ACs are needed. And in Poland, we're equipping sites with solar panels, increasing the share of solar power in per-site energy mix by up to 30%. And back to the simplified architecture design solution I talked about in Indonesia, this solution was able to cut the energy consumption of support infrastructure by 30%. Data centers are also consuming quite a lot of energy, and there are more and more of those. To address this, we have adopted innovations in full liquid cooling, AI modular construction, and cluster computing, which could help us to save more energy and become more environmental friendly. Dear friends, I understand that I may have gone beyond the time a little bit. I share with you that by looking ahead into the future in terms of operations and innovations, our major considerations. And of course, Huawei has quite some challenges ahead, and we will keep up with the hard work. But we also see that the advances in mankind, the digitalization in different sectors, and decarbonization will also present huge opportunities for us. So we see both the challenges and the missions. For Huawei, we believe that we can only keep the ball rolling through non-stop innovation. And only by working with our customers, partners in different industries, can we be able to march on to the track towards the future. And we hope to continue to work with you and hope to continue to see support from you. In this way, through joint efforts, we can build a better and greener, intelligent world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our rotating chairman, Mr. Ken Hu. I would like to thank both Mr. Ken Hu and Dr. Zhou Hong for their valuable insights. I think we can all agree there's some very interesting opportunities for Huawei in the ICT industry. As you can see, the stage is being set up now, and we'll shortly open up the floor to questions. Before we start, I think just a few housekeeping points. If you'd like to ask a question in the audience, please raise your hand, and when I acknowledge you, we'll bring over a microphone so that we can hear you clearly. For everybody else who's joining us online, please raise a digital hand, and we will unmute you when you're called upon to ask a question. Please ensure that you keep your video on if you are online and anticipate asking a question, and please remember to put your name and your organization's name on your on-screen furniture so we can call upon you when the time comes. In the interest of time, we'll keep everybody to one question each so we can get through as many questions as possible in the time allocated to us. You may ask your question in either English or Mandarin, and our interpreter, Liu Rei, who will be joining our speakers on stage, will translate both your questions and the corresponding answers. And for everybody, whether online or offline, please remember to state your name and the organization you represent before you start your question. I think we're just about ready, so I'd like to invite Mr. Ken Hu, our rotating chairman, back onto the stage, as well as Mr. David Wong, Executive Director of the Board and Chairman of the ICT Infrastructure Managing Board. Both of them will be answering your questions today. Right, I think we're just about ready to start. We will take our first question from the audience. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. Right, this lady in the red, I think you had your hand raised first. Please go ahead, let's take a microphone over here.
各位领导好，我是深圳商报的陈舒。我的问题是在今年，华为提出了有质量的活下来这样一个目标。那么，为了实现这个目标，我们会重点去关注哪些领域？您认为这个目前我们面对的最大问题是什么？谢谢。
This is a question from Shenzhen Economic Daily. Huawei has set the goal of surviving and doing so sustainably for 2022. To achieve this goal, what will be Huawei's focus areas this year? What are the challenges facing the company?
你提的这个第一个问题啊，这个非常重要啊。今年我们整个公司的这个经营方针啊，确实我们是围绕这个让整个公司要有质量的活下去这一点来展开的。为什么这么讲呢？刚才在这个演讲的时候啊，我也实事求是的向大家分享啊，就是华为当前啊，其实我们遇到的困难还是蛮多的。大家其实从我们去年的这个经营数据来看，大家可以看得到这一些。那么在今年呢，我们看到呢，就是过去的面临的困难啊没有减少，而这个外界环境的变化又给我们带来了更多的困难，比如说地缘的冲突啊，比如说这个全球的疫情还没消失，这个全球性的通胀正在到来，大宗商品的涨价，这个有可能出现的汇率波动，这些啊都是我们在整个经营环境中啊今年要遇到的这个严峻的挑战。所以在这种情况下呢，华为认为呢，我们首先要活下来，但是我们要提高我们活下来的质量。那怎么去理解这个质量的问题？我有几个角度啊，来这个和大家分享一下。讲的不完整的地方呢，请王涛来帮我补充。首先，第一个质量，我觉得华为呢要保证我们给客户提供的产品、解决方案和服务的质量。产品和解决方案的竞争力不能下降，我们的服务的连续性不能出问题。这方面呢，我们会采取大量的措施，而且从过去2年来看呢，我们在这方面做的还是不错的，客户呢，也总体上是满意的。当然，在当前的情况下呢，我们更关注客户的这个声音，所以我们这几年啊，我们对在客户的满意度的管理里面，我们投入了比过去更多的资源，我们希望能够随时知道客户这个遇到的问题，因为现在的整个大环境是这样子的，华为有困难，其实客户也是有困难的，我们需要跟客户一起去随时发现困难，去解决问题。这是第一个方面。那么第二个方面呢，所谓的质量要体现在华为的稳健运营上，华为要稳健运营，对吧？那么作为一个企业来说，活不下来，一切都是空的。不管我们对未来的畅想多么美好，也不管我们的这个理想多么远大，活不下来，一切都是空的。那华为要活下来，我们首先要做到稳健运营。这里面有几个点我们要特别关注的。第一个就是整个公司当前要特别的关注交易的质量，特别的关注交易的质量。因为我刚才说了，我们现在面临着各种各样的外部困难，地缘冲突，这个汇率的波动，大宗商品涨价，通货膨胀，这些都是我们在商业活动中可能遇到的各种各样的看得见看不到的陷阱。那么这对我们在这种新的形势下，我们的经营活动的能力是提出了新的挑战的。坦率地讲，我们当前也遇到了不少的问题。那我们要管理好我们的交易质量。这个对于一些低质量的交易，我们会放弃。另一方面呢，华为现在的整个的这个业务组合，相比过去呢，更这个多元化一些。那么在这个聚焦大 ICT 领域相对多元化的这种业务组合之下，我们也要求每一个业务单元要扎扎实实的 做好稳健经营，不去。哦，是不是讲太长了？不好意思，那你先翻译吧，我歇一会儿啊。
The first question is indeed a very important one, and our strategy and efforts for this year have been defined around the goal of surviving and surviving sustainably. As I have addressed in my talk, that we are still faced with many challenges, and these challenges are somehow shown by the figures that you saw in the animation of our business results in 2021. We believe that in 2022, we are actually facing more daunting challenges given the external environment, and these challenges are somehow caused by the geopolitical conflicts and the ongoing pandemic, the potential worldwide inflation, as well as the price rises of commodities and potential volatility of the foreign exchange rate. And that is why we think that surviving and surviving sustainably is a very important goal to us. Then how to put that in perspective, let me give you my understanding of this goal, and David may join me in offering more explanations. My understanding is that the first and foremost important thing about this goal is to make sure that we continue to deliver very high quality products and solutions to the customers. We must maintain the competitiveness in our products and solutions, and we must ensure that we continuously deliver the services to the customers non-stop. And we're making a lot of efforts in this regard. And over the past 2 years, we have been doing pretty well in this area, and the customers have been happy with our performance. And now we are more focused on the voice of customers than ever. In recent years, we have paid even more attention to the customer satisfaction survey because we want to know whenever the customers got a problem with our products and services. Because we understand deeply that when Huawei is faced with a challenge, the customers is faced with a challenge as well. So we want to come up with a timely solution to the problems that the customers are having. The second area I think that's highly associated with the goal is about the quality of our business operations. We must ensure very robust business operations. As we know that survival is the utmost goal for a company. Without survival, then the vision and dreams we talk about can only be just empty talk, and that makes it our top priority. We have made specific measures to ensure the quality of our transactions this year. Given the changes that I have highlighted, the potential ones, the geopolitical conflicts, changes in foreign exchange rates, potential price rises in commodities, as well as inflation, we may come across different kinds of challenges, both the quite obvious ones and the hidden ones. And that makes it all the more important for us to pay close attention to the quality of the transactions. So if we evaluate the transaction and regard it as high risk, then we will give it up as a business decision in order to make sure that we have very sound business operations. Now we have more diversified product portfolios for our ICT infrastructure business. It is a requirement for every BU in Huawei to make sure that they have sound business operations and pay high attention to the quality of the transactions.
我稍微纠正一下，刚才我说的是这个 business portfolio， 不是这个 product portfolio。那就是说我接着说就是我们现在的这个业务的结构呢，会比过去更这个 diversify 一些。但在这种架构之下呢，那么我们要求呢，每一个业务在本身都要聚焦，都要实现这个有质量的发展。那么如果不能实现有质量的发展，那么它最终就要面临被关闭的这个局面。那么这是我说的第二点，就是我们要保证我们公司的经营要稳健。
Just one thing to correct in the previous part of the translation. When I talk about the portfolio, I actually refer to the business portfolio, meaning the business structure is now more diversified in our ICT infrastructure business. So it's a requirement for all the BUs inside Huawei to pay high attention to the quality of the business operations. This is of utmost importance. If they cannot guarantee that, then there is a possibility that we have to close down the business if it cannot guarantee the quality of the business operations.
那么我们对这个生存质量的第3点考虑呢，就是我们还要面向未来啊，为了未来呢，持续的进行创新的投入啊。那么刚才我在演讲的时候呢，已经向大家报告了，我们会在人才上进行投入，我们会提供足够的这个资金和资源的保障啊，我们会在我们的创新路径上进行优化啊，通过这些措施，使得我们这个今天的投入呢，能够让未来的发展呢更有质量。
At the same time, we will also invest further in innovation. As I have addressed in my presentation, we will make further investments in talent, both the capital investment and other kinds of resources. We will make sure that we optimize the path of innovation so that we will have brighter prospects and a better quality of business in the future.
Thank you very much. I think we'll take the next question from online. If you'd like to raise your digital hand, please. All right, I think we will go next to the People's Post and Telecom. The gentleman over there. Please go ahead. Let's unmute the microphone there, please. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
我是来自人民邮电报记者，我想请问一下，华为多次提出要。我想请问一下，华为多次提出要持续创新引领产业，此前提出了面向无线的 5.5G， 今天胡总发言中又提出了面向固网的 5.5G。华为是出于什么考虑提出了这些发展愿景？这对 ICT 产业的发展的意义和价值是什么？
这个。
Huawei has said many times that it will continue to innovate and lead the industry. You raised the 5.5G for wireless, and today Mr. Ken who talked about 5.5G for fixed networks. What are the thoughts behind these visions of Huawei, and how are you going to benefit the ICT industry with these visions?
我们提出2个 5.5G 啊，其实就是基于我们认为呢，社会的发展对连接的需求是无止境的。那么在连接领域的创新也应该是无止境的啊。过去呢，有一种这个错误的说法，大家说连接是一个一个夕阳产业，在华为我们是完全不认同这一点的。我们认为它就是一个朝阳产业。谈到这2个 5.5G 啊，我们第一个提出这个无线领域的 5.5G 的时候呢，是在这个2年之前，在上海的这个移动通信论坛上 MBBF 上。当时呢，就是由我身边的这位这个汪涛同志，他这个率先提出的，所以我想这个问题啊，再往下讲啊，应该他来讲可能是最权威的。
The pair of 5.5G visions are raised because we believe that the world has unlimited demands for connectivity, and therefore we should push for unlimited innovation for connectivity. There was a erroneous idea about the connectivity industry that I would like to bring up. Some would say that the connectivity industry was a sunset industry, meaning that it's all going down from now onwards. We categorically disagree. We believe it is a sunrise industry. And 2 years ago, we raised 5.5G for wireless during Shanghai's Mobile Broadband Forum, and it was the gentleman seated next to me, David, that launched this. So I think he's the best person to talk further about this vision.
感谢胡总啊，其实就是正如胡总刚才讲的，其实连接产业它不是一个夕阳产业，反而它是个朝阳产业。在这连接，我们只有连接，我们呢才有智能世界的基础。因为如果说我们一个个的个体、家庭、组织，一个个单元如果处于分离状态，它的智能是无所发挥的。 在我们的通信这个领域里面呢，我们最重要的一个是移动通信，一个是固定通信。在通信领域呢，其实我们是每10年一代，每10年一代。在2020年前后，其实我们的移动通信走入了5G 时代。我们下一个可以憧憬的6G 的话呢，至少要等到2030年。2030年。那在这个10年的过程中间呢，我们的技术它不是停滞不前的，反而它要持续往前演进和发展。所以说呢，在2年前，当我们的5G 刚刚开始部署的时候，我们就提出来说，我们和行业一起要定义5G 到6G 演进过程中间的它的持续演进的它的路线图。
Thank you, Ken. I agree with you that the connectivity industry is not a sunset industry, but rather a sunrise industry. Without connectivity, there simply isn't a base for the intelligent world. If every individual, household, or organization stays disconnected, there is no intelligence whatsoever in a world like that. In the communications technology, actually there are two primary parts. One is the fixed networks and the other is the wireless networks. And basically these two areas of the communications technology will evolve into the next generation every 10 years. And around 2020, 5G came into the world as one generation of the wireless technology. And if we talk about the next generation of the wireless technology, that would be the 6th generation, the 6G. According to what I have explained, then it will at least be around 2030 when we are ushering 6G into the world. As we believe that when it is in between two generations of the technologies, they should not just stop there. They should continue to evolve and move forward. And that is why when 2 years ago, 5G was first deployed, Huawei started to work with the industry to think and define what should happen, what should evolve as a next step between 5G and 6G.
在过去的2到3年里面，其实5G 在全球得到了快速的发展。到目前为止，全球有200多家运营商已经商用了5G 的技术。同时 5G 的用户已经达到7亿多。在这个商用的过程中间呢，我们也发现了 5G 技术本身有很多的它的限制，比如说它的速率，包括上行下行都有很多的问题，它的时延还没达到对我们的有些业务的支持，还没达到一个能够真正支撑我们一个更高质量的业务体验的这个要求。还有呢，它的在物联网的支持能力上还有很多的缺陷。所以在这种情况下，这就是为什么我们呼吁行业来共同定义 5.5G。5.5G 可能对我们消费者来说，一个最直接的体验，就是到2025年前后，我们希望 5G 的技术能做到下行的峰值速率达到10G bps， 就是刚才胡总提的10G anywhere， 10G bps anywhere。上行呢，我们希望能进一步推高到1G bps。
5G has been developing pretty rapidly over the past 2 to 3 years. So far, over 200 telecom operators have launched commercial rollouts of 5G technology with the number of subscribers of over 700 million. But we have noted that there are still quite a few limitations of the 5G technology. One of them is the uplink and downlink speeds. And another area is around latency. Its level of latency is not yet sufficient to support a myriad of services and experience, and it is still having some gaps in supporting the IoT services. And that is why we, together with the industry players, are envisioning 5.5G. And the consumers can feel about the change, the difference that 5.5G is about to bring. Around 2025, the downlink peak speeds can reach 10 gigabytes per second for the consumers. That's what Ken talked about in his presentation, the 10 gigabytes per second everywhere goal, and the uplink speeds could reach 1 gigabyte per second.
在固网领域里面，其实在2年前 ，ETSI 牵头全世界定义了固网的代际当时也是借助了移动通信的概念，叫 F5G。F5G 呢，其实它定义了基本上是我们的速率，希望能够实现1G bps anywhere， 峰值速率达到10个G。 但是呢，这2年的疫情我们深有体会。我认为现在目前的家庭的宽带，包括我们的固网的通信，还有很多我们家庭的很多这个使用的质量问题。在家庭环境下面，我们的这个 WiFi 的接入速率比较低，接入速率的话呢，在不同的房间里面质量是不一样的，而且呢，就是我们很可能在视频通话的时候断话，孩子上网课经常出现这样那样的延迟。所以呢，我们认为华为公司作为通信领域的一个主要的一个供应商，应该说我们是一个领先者。我们责无旁贷，应该继续推动固定通信领域持续往前演进。所以我们也提出来和移动通信相同的一个演进节奏，也是到2025年，我们希望固网也演进到所谓的 F5.5G。F5.5G 呢，它的最大的特征，我们希望能够实现在家庭领域里面能够实现10 Gbps anywhere。这个和刚才的移动还不一样，移动通信是峰值速率，它是一个峰值速率，是一个 peak rate， 它不是能够实现保证 anywhere。我们希望能够固网领域实现10 G anywhere， 10 G anywhere 它的峰值速率呢，我们希望进一步要推高到50 G， 推高到50 G 这样的峰值速率，才能实现我们的10 G anywhere。而且呢，这个10 G 呢是上下行都要能够达到10 G， 进一步的提升，大幅度的提升我们在宽带领域里面我们的用户体验。
About 2 years ago, ETSI, the organization, released F5.5G. It's actually learned from the wireless naming convention and named it F5.5G. And the speed is supposed to reach 1 GB per second everywhere, and with peak rates of 10 GB per second. And during the pandemic, we have felt deeply that some of the broadband services are falling short. For example, the home broadband, the fixed network that you use at home, you might notice that you might feel that the Wi-Fi is low, and in different rooms you have different rates for the Wi-Fi. And when you watch the video, it is stuttering. And when your children is receiving education, joining the online classrooms, they are having the issues of long latency. And noticing these problems, and then Huawei have worked with the industry to together vision the next step of evolution for the fixed networks. We believe as a leading player in the communications industry, it is part of our responsibility to do so. And we also think that the cadence for F5.5G should be similar to that of the wireless 5.5G. That means that it should be out there around 2025. And by that time, F5.5G should provide households with 10 GB per second anywhere. So if you notice the difference in my answers is actually different with the wireless answer, because in the wireless 5.5G, I was talking about the peak rates, but for the F5.5G, it's actually 10 bps anywhere. So it means that it will have to deliver 10 gigabyte per second everywhere with peak rates of 50 gigabyte per second everywhere. We believe that's the level of peak rates we need to guarantee in order to deliver 10 gigabyte per second everywhere with the F5.5G. And both uplink and downlink rates would have to reach 10 gigabyte per second, and that is the way we can guarantee much better services and experience for the home broadband.
当然，我们提出这个愿景呢，就是我们需要我们的全社会需要很多的公司，包括供应商，包括我们的器件供应商，设备提供商，包括我们的运营商，共同努力，才能实现到2025年前后实现我们。无论是移动通信、固定通信，我们所有的这个连接领域走向5.5G 时代，需要我们携起手来，共同努力，才能实现这样的一个愿景，为我们创造更美好的生活。
This vision will rely on the concerted efforts of the different players in the communications community, including the suppliers, the equipment vendors, as well as the telecom operators. Through concerted efforts, then we can achieve the vision of 5.5G for the wireless and 5.5G for the fixed networks, which is called F5.5G by 2025. that can help us deliver better services for the users.
Thank you very much. Right, let's go back to the room for the next question. This gentleman over here in the glasses and the blue T-shirt.
你好，我是新华社记者。我想请教的是，刚才胡总的演讲中也重点提到了这个华为云这块的业务，然后我们从去年的年报当中也明显的看到了华为云业务的一个增长，就是想了解一下这个华为云这一块业务接下来的一些业务的布局、一些方向大概是怎么样的？谢谢。
This is a question from Xinhua News. Ken, from your presentation, we have learned of the growth of Huawei Cloud. And from the release of Huawei's annual report, we have learned about the specific numbers. So we would like to know more about the next step of Huawei Cloud and what would be its major focus.
关于那个华为云啊，首先第一个，对于这项业务呢，它过去这2年的这个快速增长，我们还是满意的。
As for the Huawei Cloud business, we are satisfactory with its fast growth achieved over the past 2 years.
一方面，它的这个市场的份额，比如说这个 IaaS，这一层的这个市场上呢，目前华为云呢，在中国是这个排名第2，在全球呢是排名第5。那么这比我们过去几年呢是有了这个明显的进步的。
In terms of market share, we see that Huawei Cloud is ranked number 2 and globally number 5 for the IaaS market. This has been a very visible achievement compared to the historical performances.
另外呢，这个我们相信这个云的业务发展啊，它有一个很重要的这个基础，就是生态的发展。那过去几年呢，华为云的这个生态呢，也有了比较大的进步。我有几个数字和大家可以分享一下。比如说这个，我们现在在全球这个华为云已经聚合了3万多家合作伙伴。这个围绕华为云来做这个应用开发的这个开发者呢，现在有260多万。而且我们的云市场上现在已经上架的应用已经超过了这个6000多个。
One important foundation for the cloud services is the ecosystem. Over the past few years, Huawei Cloud has made a great stride in the ecosystem as well. I would like to share with you some numbers. First of all, the number of partners. Now there have been over 30,000 partners to Huawei Cloud services, and there have been over 2.6 million developers joining our ecosystem. And there are over 6,000 applications that have been launched in the Huawei Cloud marketplace.
当然，这都是我们取得的成绩了。但另一方面呢，其实我们也要清醒地去认识到，华为在这个云业务里面呢，我们现在还处在一个这个努力爬坡的阶段。那么，相比起这个全球的，甚至是国内的这个领先的这个云服务的提供商来讲呢，我们不管是从这个市场的份额，云服务上的这个产品的竞争力，还有这项业务本身的盈利能力方面呢，我们都还需要这个缩小差距。
Despite of the achievements, we are very clear about the journey we have to continue. We still have to catch up with the leading players, both in China as well as globally, compared to those leading cloud service providers in terms of market share, the competitiveness of the cloud services, as well as the profitability of the business. We still have to work even harder to shorten the gap.
今年呢，我们云服务的团队呢，提出了这个一切皆服务这么一个理念。刚才在这个演讲的时候呢，我也向大家报告了，就是基础设施即服务，技术即服务和经验即服务。我们认为呢，他们提出的这个经营战略方向上应该是对头的。
Our Huawei Cloud team has launched the strategy of everything as a service. I pointed to this in my talk. Everything as a service includes 3 parts: infrastructure as a service, technology as a service, and expertise as a service. We believe this is the right strategy for our Huawei Cloud services.
为什么这么说呢？我就这个稍微多向大家这个报告几句啊。
Why do I say so? Let me give you a few more of my points.
因为以中国市场为例，我们认为呢，现在中国全国正在发生的一个大的变化，就是千行百业的数字化，正在这个以超过我们想象的速度在推进。那么千行百业的数字化呢，实际上是为这个云业务，尤其是公有云业务的发展带来了一个非常好的发展机会。
I would like to give you some specific examples. One is what's happening in the China's market. And in the China's market, one major trend and one big thing that's happening is the digital journey of the various industries. And these industries are moving forward with that digital transformation at speeds beyond our imagination. The industrial digital transformation offers great opportunities for cloud services, especially the public cloud services.
由于这个大大小小的企业都要做数字化转型，所以大家对于云服务的接受程度比过去大了很多。也就是说，我们不需要再花那么多时间去教育客户，或者说是劝说客户，说这个云有多么的好，大家都知道云好。那么现在呢，大家的需求更深入、更明确了，就是我到底怎么样能够上好云，怎么样能够用好云。
As companies, both large and small, have the need to go digital. So now we don't have to spend that much time trying to help them accept the benefits of cloud services. You don't have to spend as much time educating or persuading the customers in the benefits of Huawei cloud services. And the customers, the enterprises all know that there are a lot of benefits about cloud services, and they have a clearer idea about their demands. And now the question that they're more concerned about is how to have better cloud migration and how to leverage the benefits of cloud services.
而且产生这些需求的客户往往都是一些像华为一样过去传统的制造型的企业这个交通企业就是我们通常所说的打引号的这个传统行业吧。
A lot of these enterprise customers fall into the category that we call traditional enterprises, just like us. For example, the manufacturing industry, the transport industry.
那么这些企业呢，它的这个应用场景各有所不同，每个企业的这个生产的模式也不一样，所以要帮他们上好云、用好云，是需要非常强的服务能力的。
These different companies have different needs for application. They have different use cases, and these companies have been through different journeys of development. That is why it requires a supplier with a very strong capability in servicing to help them with the cloud migration journey and to help them with a good use of the cloud services.
而这种服务能力呢，恰恰是华为的强项。因为大家知道，第一呢，华为自身也走过了这么多年数字化转型的路，我们也用云，我们也在迁移上云，我们知道这里面的困难在哪。再一个呢，华为一直做这个 to B 的业务，做了这个30多年，我们知道 to B 的业务应该怎么去做，我们的组织是这个已经完善的我们的能力也是经过了这么多年打造的所以呢，我们的这个华为云的团队呢，他们很敏锐地意识到了这样的变化。那么在今年提出这个一切皆服务的理念我们认为是恰当其时。
Service capability is what Huawei is very strong in. As we have been through the digital transformation journey ourselves, so we have been through the whole process of cloud migration and good use of the cloud resources. We have overcome the difficulties along the way. Secondly, we have amassed a lot of expertise and experience in the B2B business, as we've been doing this for the past 30 plus years. We have well-established organization to support the B2B business, and we have all the expertise and capabilities we have built up over the years. And our Huawei Cloud team has acutely noticed the changes in the market and raised the strategy of everything as a service. I think that they launched that strategy at a very relevant time.
对，那么在他们提出的这个一切皆服务的这个战略之下呀，我们看到了很多可喜的变化。我们看到的呢，就是客户用华为云的服务越来越容易，越来越顺手，也越来越顺心了。
The customers have been pretty satisfactory with the Huawei Cloud services since we have launched the everything as a service strategy. They have found that Huawei Cloud services are becoming easier to use, and they have found that Huawei Cloud services are better able to support the use cases as well.
比如说技术级服务，刚才介绍的这个天津港，运用华为云上的这个 AI 的这个开发工具，就是一个典型的例子。那么在技术级服务方面，另外比如说我最近听到介绍的西安交通大学的第一附属医院，它利用我们华为云上的这个盘古药物分子的大模型，来做全新的这个广谱抗菌药物的研发。那么研发周期从过去的几年，它可以缩短到几个月，这些呢，其实都让我们看到了我们战略它能够带来的效果。
Technology as a service can be testified by the example of Tianjin Port, and they have utilized the AI development tool on Huawei Cloud service. And another example is the case of the first affiliated hospital of Xi'an Jiaotong University. They have leveraged a Pangu transformer model to develop the broad-spectrum antibiotics, and the time it takes to develop the pharmaceutical has been shortened from years to months. All of these are very visible outcomes of the use of Huawei Cloud service.
对，另外我们提出的这个经验级服务。那么就是把华为自身的这个数字化转型的经验，还有包括我们的一些客户和我们一些行业伙伴他们的这个优秀的经验，我们都用这个 APaaS 的方式把它沉淀到华为的云上，像这样的一些这个进展呢，都让我们对这个华为云业务下一步的发展是有信心的。
As for expertise as a service, it's about incorporating Huawei's experience and expertise built up over the years, as well as those built up by our partners and customers in cloud services. We share them through the APaaS of Huawei Cloud service. All of these progress have helped us to become more confident in the next step of Huawei Cloud service.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to the other side of the room over there. Anyone on this side of the room would like to ask a question, please? Let's have a look. Over there. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Henry, and I'm from Frost & Sullivan. So as per Mr. Hu's early sharing regarding the consumer's business, my question is, what is the prospect of Huawei's consumer business, and what strategies does Huawei to counter the slump over the last few years?
这个问题是来自于沙利文。从您的这个讲解当中也了解到了这个消费者业务的情况。那想请问一下，华为消费者业务的前景如何？那么针对消费者业务下滑的这个缺口，华为接下来有什么样的一个策略去弥补？
对，就正如你所说就是我们的这个手机的业务在过去这2年里面是有一个大幅度的下滑的，这个原因大家也都知道了，我就不在这儿重复了。
As you have pointed out, our smartphone business over the past 2 years had sharp declines for reasons that everybody know very well about.
那么作为一个企业来讲呢，不管这个挑战有多大，我们总要学会去管理这种危机。 而且危机嘛，它既有威胁，其实也孕育着机会。就像我刚才在演讲时候向大家报告的，那么在终端这个业务里面，虽然手机给我们带来了这个手机它出现了很大的下滑，但实际上我们可以用一种新的视角去看终端的业务。那我们发现终端的业务呢，其实这个手机是非常重要的，但是不只有手机。我们现在提出来的这个硬件的1+8+N 加软件的生态，而去构筑这个全场景智慧化的体验，它已经成为了我们终端业务的一个非常明确的战略。
From our perspective, when we're faced with a challenge, we have to cope with it. And whenever there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. That is what I've pointed out in my talk. We have to cope with the sharp declines in the smartphone business, but it got us thinking what to do next. And devices, as I have talked about, are more than just smartphones. And we have develop and launch the seamless AI live strategy based on the hardware, which is the 1+A+N ecosystem, and the software ecosystem as well. That is a strategy we have officially released for our device business.
所以我们在去年看到我们的这个战略是初步是有效果的。一方面就是我们的这个+8的产品比如说我们的这个智能这个可穿戴设备手表手环还有我们的这个像这个音箱智慧大屏我们的平板这些设备的这个出货量呢都有不错的这个增长。另一方面呢刚才我说的我们是这个软件加硬件的这个硬件加软件的战略。那么在软件生态方面我们这个鸿蒙的这个生态呢也发展得不错。
Last year, this strategy started to deliver results because we have seen a growth of the shipment of the +A devices, including the wearables such as watches, bands, as well as the Huawei Vision tablets and speakers and all these products. As I've said that it is a strategy composed of both hardware and software ecosystem. We have also seen progress made in the Harmony OS ecosystem as well.
那么当前呢搭载了我们 Harmony OS 的这个华为设备已经超过了2.2亿个。那么鸿蒙智联呢，目前我们已经有超过1900家的这个生态合作伙伴。另外呢，就是在2021年我们新增的生态设备鸿蒙智联的生态设备的发货量突破了1亿台。所有的这些呢，都让我们对于我们的这个鸿蒙生态未来的发展呢是充满了信心的。
And today we have seen over 220 million devices that have installed Harmony OS. We have seen over 1,900 partners joining Harmony OS Connect ecosystem. In 2022, we saw an additional over 100 million devices that are the ecosystem partner devices that have been shipped.
所以我们这个把这种硬件加软件生态的这个策略呢，我们会沿着这个策略呢，聚焦5大类场景，去打造5类这个智慧化的用户体验。这里面包括智慧办公、运动健康、智能家居、智慧出行，还有影音娱乐等等。所以大家可以期待的就是会不断的看到我们推出更多的这个优秀的这个产品，同时也会体现到华为和我们的生态伙伴一起来给大家呈现的更多好的这个智慧化的服务。
This hardware plus software ecosystem, this software plus hardware strategy will actually serve the 5 major scenarios, including intelligent office, fitness and health, smart home, easy travel and entertainment. Please look forward to the even better, more superior products that we have in the lineup. Huawei will work with the partners to provide you with even better intelligent services.
我也想利用今天这个机会向大家预告一下，就是2天以后，4月28号，我们将举办这个折叠屏旗舰机以及我们的这个 全场景的这个新产品的发布会，也欢迎大家去这个关注和光临。
I would like to give you a trailer that is the launch that will happen in 2 days. It will happen on the 28th of April. We are going to launch our new flagship foldable smartphone, and we'll also launch some new products and services for the seamless AR life experience. Please tune in.
Thank you very much. Let's take another question from the floor. I think this lady had a hand up very quickly in the black waistcoat.
我是总台记者沈显玉，想问一下胡总，目前华为的智能汽车业务发展的怎么样了？那之前网传的这个销售目标，今年有没有可能完成？今年还会不会发布新车？谢谢。
This is a question about the IAS business. I would like to understand more about the progress of your intelligent automobile business, and have you achieved the sales targets you have set for this business? And will you release any new cars this year?
车是大家这个对华为的关注中这个大家绕不过去的一个问题啊。先回答你刚才这个最后问的，今年会不会有新的这个车发布？我想说肯定会有的，不管是通过华为智选的模式，还是华为 Inside 的模式，我们今年都一定会有新的产品发布，这样敬请大家期待。
The car question is the one that everyone is most interested in. So we'll answer the last bit of your question first. Whether there will be a new car launches this year, the answer is yes. There will be a new car launch this year. It may either be Huawei Zhixuan cars or the cars worked out through the HI model.
另外，你刚才也问到了，就是今年这个汽车这个华为智选车的销售目标能不能实现？其实我觉得这个问题也不需要我来回答了，这个余承东同学已经回答过了。
And you asked about whether we have achieved the sales targets for Huawei Zhixuan cars. I don't think I need to answer it one more time because I believe Richard Yu has already answered that question himself.
但是我觉得呢，就是对华为的这个提出来的目标哪怕不能实现，也希望大家能够多一些宽容和理解因为毕竟我们从事这个跟车有关的这个行业我们还是一个新来者，我们好多东西都要去学习，甚至要这个可能会犯不少的错误所以这都是难免的，希望大家多一些宽容。
And I think that even if we cannot achieve our sales targets for the cars, I hope that you can be more understanding because in the car industry, Huawei is still a new entrant. We have a lot to learn and we cannot prevent us from making any mistakes. So those are natural learning process.
对，我也想结合你这个问题把华为目前的这个车的业务目前大概进展的一些最新的状况向大家报告一下。我想这个可能都是大家关心的。
With a question, let me talk a bit more about the progress of the car business. I think that you're interested in this part of the answer as well.
首先第一个呢，我觉得这个通过这么多年的摸索我们现在对这个智能汽车部件的业务呢，我们从它的这个市场的这个趋势和我们的机会上我们这个理解得更清楚了。
We have explored the auto market for years, and after the years of exploration, now we've got a clearer picture about the market trends and opportunities.
那么所谓这个行业的趋势呢，我们已经越来越清楚地看到，就是汽车行业或者说叫做出行这个行业，它实际上确实是走到了一个关键的这个时间拐点上，就是经常大家说的4化就是电动化、智能化、网联化、共享化其实已经成了一个越来越清晰的这个未来的方向。
As for the market trends, we now are very clear about the critical trends in the mobility or the car industry. This industry now stands at a critical juncture of its history because it's now embracing electrical, intelligent, connected, and shared cars.
那么这4化背后呢，其实它意味着汽车这么一个庞大的产业，或者说这个出行那么更为庞大的一个产业，它正在进入一个转型期。而在这个转型的过程中呢，毫无疑问数字化的技术、电力电子的技术肯定是关键的 势能技术。
It means that the auto or mobility industry is now in a critical phase of transition. In that phase of transition, undoubtedly, digital technology and power electronics would be very key enabling technologies.
那么因此呢，华为呢，因为我们在这个不管是 ICT 的技术，还是这个电力电子的技术方面呢，我们在过去这些年30多年的这个技术创新都有很多的积累。比如说网络呀、计算操作系统云电力电子这些我们都有很多的积累。所以我们看到呢，就是我们叫做英雄有用武之地就是我们过去的这个积累的和现在正在做的这些技术未来在整个这个汽车行业的转型的过程中是一定能够创造价值的。
As Huawei has amassed a lot of capabilities due to its innovation over the past 30 years, including ICT technology and power electronics, such as the networking, computing, operating system, cloud, and such capabilities. We think that the auto industry is one of the sectors where we can play out our strengths. We believe the technology and the expertise we have amassed are definitely going to be vital for the transformation of the auto industry, and we can create value for the companies in that sector.
那么基于这样的认识呢，我们更进一步的，就是也明确了华为在这个行业我们未来到底怎么发展，我们的策略是什么这个大家可能也都是都对大家来说都是耳熟能详就是我们华为是不造车的，我们的定位就是智能车部件的供应商我们要做的呢，就是集聚我们的 ICT 能力基于几个关键的解决方案，去帮助车企包括传统车企，也包括造车的新势力，帮助他们造好车。那么同时呢，我们也充分的去开放我们过去这么多年形成的面向消费者的渠道能够帮助有意愿跟我们合作的车企呢，来帮他们卖好车所以我们的这个战略呢，定位和战略也都更明确了。
We now have developed a clearer strategy and plans for this business. You must have heard of it and known it very well already. We have repeatedly said that we don't make cars, and Huawei positions itself as a provider of the components of intelligent cars. We would like to provide the ICT capabilities that we have had and the key solutions to the automakers. And the automakers here include the traditional car OEMs as well as the new entrants into the market. We want to support them to build better cars, while at the same time we would like to leverage our 2C channels to help those car makers that are willing to cooperate with us to sell more of the better cars that they produce.
那么基于这样的定位和业务战略呢，我们就做好几件事这里也向大家报告一下。第一件呢，就是我们聚焦几个关键的子系统打造具有竞争力的解决方案是哪几个呢？这里就包括智能电动、自动驾驶、智能座舱、智能网联，还有智能车云。
Based on that positioning and strategy, we are making efforts in the following areas. Firstly, we will focus on several key systems and develop very competitive solutions. And these areas include M-Power, autonomous driving, intelligent cockpit, intelligent communications connectivity, and intelligent vehicle cloud services.
那么基于这样的一些解决方案呢，我们要做的第二个关键的工作呢，就是开放的和产业链的上下游伙伴进行合作。
Second, we will stay very open and cooperate with the partners along the value chain, both upstream and downstream.
比如说，我们基于开放的智能汽车的数字平台、智能驾驶的自动驾驶的平台。还有基于 HarmonyOS 的智能座舱的平台，来和产业链上下游的伙伴合作。现在跟我们合作的企业已经达到了300多家。
For example, we'll work with the partners on the open autonomous driving digital platform and the Harmony OS embedded intelligent cockpit platform. So far, there have been 300 partners that have worked with us on these platforms.
那么另一方面呢，我们也积极的和这个整车厂，包括这个传统的车厂，也包括造车的新势力。用不同的方式来展开合作，这里面既包括了这个在这个子系统级别的，或者是这个特定的部件级别的合作，也包括更深入的基于这个华为 Inside 这样模式的这个合作。
We now are cooperating with different kinds of automakers, including the traditional car OEMs and the new entrants. And we have different approaches of cooperation. With some of them, we are working at the subsystem or component level. With some of them, we have deeper cooperation, and we take up the approach of the HI model.
当然还有这个华为智选。
And also the Huawei 智选 approach.
所以大家可以看到，现在这个和我们深入合作的，比如说北汽极狐啊，这个阿维塔，还有广汽啊，以及这个小康的赛力斯啊，都逐步在这个有新的车型这个发布或者上市。
For example, the partners that we are working with are Beijing Automotive Group, Everett Technology, Guangzhou Automobile Group, SOCON, and with these partners, we have launched the cars and we have new cars being lined up.
我们也相信呢，随着这个市场的这个自动电动车的这个市场的逐步的这个发展啊，我们的这个定位和选择的这种模式，也会得到越来越多的这个上下游伙伴的理解和认可。
We believe as the electric vehicles move forward, our positioning and our approaches of cooperation will be better received and will be better understood by partners in the value chain, both upstream and downstream.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go online now to a number of people who've been waiting patiently. If you'd like to raise your digital hand. Right, I can see Government Insider, you have your hand raised there. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Miguel. I'm from Government Insider. So the pandemic has changed the world and Huawei has played an active and important role in digitalization during the pandemic. We have seen cases such as the 5G hospital in Thailand and the offshore floating solar farm in the Asia Pacific. Could you maybe share some light on the successes and challenges of Huawei in promoting digitalization and green development in Asia Pacific, as well as any other upcoming plans in the region? Thank you.
这是一个来自亚太的问题。那在疫情期间呢，华为帮助亚太地区推动数字化转型，比方说，在泰国新建的这个5G 医院，以及亚太区做了一系列的数字化转型的举措。那么想请您分享一下，在亚太区推动数字化转型遇到一些什么样的挑战，有哪些进展？那么未来在这个区域数字化转型方面有哪些新的计划？
很高兴我们这个身在泰国的朋友啊，能够通过网络和我们今天来交流互动啊。
I'm very happy to have this opportunity to interact with the friend joining us online, where she is actually in Thailand.
那么我记得几个月之前啊，我当时也是通过这个网络视频的方式啊，和这个泰国的副总理啊，也专门为这个数字化转型。还有这个5G 的医院啊，进行过远程的交流。
A couple of months ago, with a similar technology approach, I had a video conference with the Deputy Prime Minister of Thailand, and we exchanged views on digital transformation and 5G hospital.
我特别高兴啊，就是我们当时谈到的很多的这个想法不到1年的时间就已经落地了。
I'm very glad to see that a lot of the ideas we exchange have been rapidly implemented. It was within less than 1 year that many of the ideas have been turned into reality.
亚太地区呢是华为在中国以外的这个最重要的市场之一啊，它的特点就是规模大、人数多， 经济发展不平衡，但另一方面呢，它在这个数字化的这个发展方面呢，它还表现出非常活跃的这么一个特点。
Asia Pacific is one of the most important markets for Huawei in the regions outside China, and it's covered a huge piece of land. It's got a huge population, and the status of economic development across the region is kind of patchy. But at the same time, it's got dynamic requirement for digital transformation.
那么，我本人呢对这个亚太地区啊也是比较熟悉的。所以我也想结合这个亚太地区的数字化，以及华为在这个过程中啊，能够做些什么，和您简单交流一下。
I know the Asia Pacific region very well myself, so I'd like to share a few more of my views on this with you and what Huawei is going to do in this region.
对，那么我觉得亚太地区有个特点，就是它的这个经济发展的这个比较多元化啊。既有这个严格意义上来讲，亚太地区既有这个美国、加拿大、新西兰、澳大利亚、新加坡这样经济高度发达的地区，啊，也有大量的这个发展中国家，这样就使得大家在这个数字化的这个方面呢，大家的需求和面临的问题挑战都是不太一样的。
Asia Pacific region is a unique one because it's composed of countries with different stages of economic development, and it's got the more developed countries just like enjoying the same level of economic development with US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and Singapore. But in this region, we also see there are quite a lot of developing countries as well. For these different groups of countries, they have different digital needs, and they are faced with different digital challenges as well.
那么从我的观察来看呢，我觉得亚太的这个数字化呢有几个特点。第一个就是，对于在绝大多数的亚太国家，政府在这个数字化方面的国家战略，是比较超前也非常清晰的。
My observation is a lot of the Asia-Pacific countries have made very clear national strategies about going digital.
比如说这个泰国泰国有这个 Digital Hub 这么一个这个国家的数字化战略。印尼呢有这个 Digital Indonesia， 另外像韩国呢还有这个 Digital New Deal， 它叫 Digital 新政这么一些这个国家战略来指引这个当地国的这个数字化的发展。
For example, the digital hub that Thailand has advocated, Digital Indonesia, proposed by Indonesia, and the Digital New Deal announced by Korea. These are just some of the examples, you name it. And with these national strategies, these Asia-Pacific countries are guiding their own development and in their journey of going digital.
那么同时呢，我们也认为呢，在亚太地区呢，推进数字化的进程呢，有几个共同的抓手。
While at the same time, we believe that there are several levers we have to pay attention to in promoting the digital transformation in the Asia-Pacific region.
第一个呢，就是打造强大的数字基础设施，或者是大幅度的提升当地的数字基础设施的水平。
Firstly, it is essential to robustly build up the digital infrastructure or to boost the capabilities in the digital infrastructure at the local level.
那么我们看到，在亚太地区呢，不光是刚才说到的那些经济发达的国家，包括日本韩国，还有很多经济这个处在快速发展中的国家比如说泰国、印尼等等的国家。那么都是直接得益于数字基础设施的这个快速发展，比如说5G、固网的宽带，还有数据中心。
In addition to the developed countries that I have addressed, like Japan and Korea, there are a lot of other countries that are developing very fast, like Thailand and Indonesia. They have benefited from the development of digital infrastructure, including 5G, the fixed networks, and the data centers.
那么华为在亚太区呢，在这个基础设施方面呢，我们一方面要帮助所在国 建好基础设施尤其是我们刚才说的无线的固定的宽带网络，还有数据中心。另一方面呢，我们还做了大量的投入，去帮助当地的政府、运营商和企业去用好这些数据中心。
What are we going to do? We are going to help these countries build more solid infrastructure, including the wireless networks, fixed networks, and data centers. We're also going to help the governments, telecom operators, and businesses make better use of the data centers that have been built up.
那么亚太地区这个推进数字化呢，有第二个关键的抓手，就是现在就开始坚持这个低碳发展的这个策略。
Another important thing is the low carbon policy that the Asia Pacific countries start to roll out and insist on.
那么从华为这边来讲呢，我们在今年呢，就是积极的去这个推广我们的绿色站点的解决方案，帮助我们的客户呢，去构建更多的绿色的站点。这样呢，能够帮助这个运营商来实现这个减排。我给一个数据给大家参考一下，就是到2021年底的时候我们的整个这个数字能源这个板块在亚太地区已经帮助客户这个用这个光伏发电来提供给这个 ICT 行业来使用，已经达到了700多亿千瓦大量的这个节能减排。而且我们在这个亚太地区帮助客户建立了230多个这个能效更高的数据中心。
Huawei is now actively promoting the green side solutions to help these countries to achieve the goal of building a low-carbon world. We are helping the customers to establish more greener sites. We are helping the telecom operators to reduce their carbon emissions. Let me share with you some numbers. By the end of 2021, our digital power solutions have helped the customers, have helped the ICT industry in Asia Pacific through solar PV solutions to generate 7 billion kilowatt hours of electricity, and that contributed to a great deal of a reduction in carbon emissions. And we have also helped over 230 data centers to optimize their power efficiency.
那么第三点也是我特别想强调的一点，就是亚太区在这个推进数字化的这个进程的过程中呢，有一个重要的抓手，就是要花大力气来抓这个 ICT 人才的培养。而且亚太区呢，它的有一个重要的特点，就是人口的年龄结构相比欧美呢更年轻，所以在做这项工作的时候呢，亚太区是有自己的优势的。
A third area of efforts that we see very promising in Asia Pacific is the development of ICT talent, and such an area will be very vital to Asia Pacific when they go digital. As Asia Pacific has a younger population than the US and Europe, so when they are doing so, when they are developing ICT talent, they've actually got an advantage here.
那么要加快这个亚太区的这个 ICT 的人才培养呢，我相信它离不开政府、企业还有社会的这个共同努力。那么对华为来讲呢，因为我们是一个这个长期扎根在亚太地区的这个 ICT 的企业，所以我们呢就做好自己能做的事情。
In order to accelerate ICT talent development in the Asia-Pacific region, it will take a concerted efforts of the governments, businesses, and people from all walks of life. As Huawei is a company that have had a business presence in the Asia-Pacific region for quite a long time, we will continue to do very solid efforts here.
那比如说呢，在这个 ICT 人才培养方面，华为有一个计划。就是通过华为的东盟学院和我们的这个未来种子计划，在未来的5年里面在亚太地区再培养50万 ICT 的人才。
we've got initiatives to facilitate ICT talent development in this region, including Huawei ASEAN Academy and the Seafield for the Future program. Through these efforts, our plan is to help develop another 500,000 talent in the coming 5 years.
那么另外呢，我们还希望呢，能够对于这个亚太地区各国，在这个 ICT 方面的这个初创企业的赋能方面，能够助一臂之力。所以我们呢，专门启动了一个计划，它名字英文叫 Spark， 那么在这个计划之下呢，我们的计划是3年投资1亿美金，帮助这个亚太地区能够建立一个更为活跃、更为健康的这个创业生态环境。
While at the same time, we would like to better enable the startups in the ICT business. We have a special program called the Spark program for this purpose. The plan is to invest $100 million in the coming 3 years to support the businesses in Asia Pacific. We aim to help build a more dynamic and healthy enterprising environment for these businesses.
对，过去这么多年里面，华为在亚太地区呢已经深深扎根了。我们和这个大多数国家的政府啊、运营商啊、客户都建立了非常深厚的这个感情和这个商业合作关系所以呢，我们在未来呢一定会继续去兑现我们在这个亚太地区的各项承诺真正来帮助亚太地区做好数字化转型的工作。
Over the years, Huawei has taken very deep roots in the Asia-Pacific region, and we have established very deep bonds and commercial ties with governments and telecom operators in a lot of the Asia-Pacific countries. In the future, we'll continue to honor our commitments in this region and help Asia-Pacific along the way in that digital transformation journey.
All right, thank you. We are officially over time, but I know there's still interest in a couple more questions, so we will take 2 more questions from the floor, and then we'll call it a night. The lady over there in the blouse and the glasses, if you could take a microphone to her, please.
您好，我是那个南方日报的记者。我这里有一个问题，想围绕最近就是非常大火的这个元宇宙的话题来问一下。就是我们知道现在非常多的公司都已经在元宇宙这个领域发布了非常多的产品和解决方案。然后，那么华为这边对于元宇宙这个话题是怎么理解的？然后我们在这个相关的产品和解决方案领域呢，会不会有布局？谢谢。
It's a question about metaverse. A lot of the companies have launched relevant products and solutions with metaverse. And what's Huawei's understanding of the metaverse concept? And what plans do you have for launching relevant products and solutions?
这个元宇宙确实是一个这个非常火的这个话题但它同时也是一个特别大的一个话题。
Yes, indeed, metaverse is definitely a buzzword, but at the same time, I think that is a very broad concept.
对，他要讨论的这个问题很多今天由于时间的原因呢，我觉得我只能挑这个其中我自己可能稍微有点理解的这个方向吧，来和你交换一下意见。
Metaverse involves a number of topics, but given the limited time that we have here, I can only share my observations for several areas where I've got some understanding.
对，首先我觉得现在从全球来看呢，元宇宙的这个概念典型的是处在一个一个炒作期。当然，这个炒作期也是很正常的，就是任何一个这个新的这个科技在引入市场的时候，它都会经过这么一个阶段。
Looking around the world, I think that the metaverse concept is a great hype. I think it's normal to see such a hype. Whenever technology is introduced into the market, it goes through this cycle of hype.
那么华为是一个这个科技公司。那么对于我们来讲呢，其实我们要做的是在这种越是这个热闹闹的炒作期，我们又要冷静。 我们要做的呢，其实是要透过现在的这些喧嚣，要尽可能的努力去抓住它背后的本质。 那么抓住了这些本质以后呢，我们就能够更好的去做好准备。
Huawei as a tech company needs to stay cool-headed despite of the hype around us. We have to analyze and see clearly what's the essential elements of the concept so that we can be better prepared for the future.
那么如果谈到元宇宙的本质呢，我也有几点不太成熟的看法。我说第一个呢，我觉得元宇宙的本质是融合，这个融合呢意味着物理世界和这个数字世界的融合。
I've got some observations about this. They might not be very refined, but I'd like to share them with you. I think that the essential elements of the metaverse include, first of all, conversion. It refers to the conversion of the physical and digital worlds.
那么这种融合呢，它同时也意味着物理世界的数字化，以及数字世界的现实化。
By conversion, it means that the physical world will have to be digitized, while at the same time, the digital world will have to reflect on the physical world.
那么这种融合它是有现实的意义的，比如说物理世界的这个数字化，我们通过3D 建模仿真数字孪生虚实融合等等的技术，其实是有可能在数字世界里面帮我们找到这个物理世界的优化的方案的。
And we think that this kind of conversion is pretty relevant and significant to the problems that we're having. For example, when we have the digital replication of the physical world, then we'll do a 3D simulation and we have established digital twins and we can have VR, ARs. And through these kind of different approaches, it is possible for us to find out solutions in the digital world to address the problems that we're faced with in the physical world.
那么这样的一个过程呢，它是有现实意义的，就是在数字世界里面用更低成本、更高效的方式，帮我们对物理世界的这个运行方式呢进行优化。比如说，我们可以想象未来这个自动驾驶的仿真训练智能工厂的仿真化以及这个智慧城市的这个数字孪生等等都有可能是这样的一种融合的这个方式的体现。
As I say, the convergence between the physical and digital worlds is highly relevant because it offers us a cost-effective and more efficient approach with the digital world to optimize and improve the operations of the physical world. For example, there can be simulation and training for the autonomous driving, and there can be simulation for the factories, there can be digital twins for smart cities. All of these are highly relevant applications.
那么第二个我认为元宇宙的这个需要抓住的本质呢，就是这个元宇宙未来的价值呢，不仅仅是在 To C 这一侧 ，To B 这一侧的价值有可能会更大。
Secondly, I think that the benefits from metaverse will not be confined to the B2C. It could very much likely generate more benefits in the B2B domain.
那我觉得呢，尤其在当下，大家谈到元宇宙的时候基本上都在谈一些什么游戏教育这样那样的一些这个 To C 的应用。那我个人认为呢，这个元宇宙的这个未来的发展呢，在 To B 的这一侧的价值呢。应该得到足够的重视。
Whenever people talk about metaverse now, more often than not, they talk about gaming, education, and such applications for the B2C domain. But I believe in the future, we should give more attention to the benefits that metaverse will have for the B2B applications.
对，那么谈到这个华为的这个技术策略我觉得现在说我们一个完整的策略还有点这个为时尚早，但我觉得对于我们这样的一个技术公司来讲呢，我们是需要的冷静的这个去判断它未来的发展，那么这个默默的一步一步的去做好准备而且我相信呢，因为华为的这个整个的这个技术的这个组合，我们的 portfolio 是比较宽的。那么元宇宙今后不管从连接到计算到云，甚至到这个终端方面呢，可能都有很多我们可以做的事儿。这方面反正汪涛是这个 跟我相比，王导是技术专家，我也想请他来谈一谈，他对元宇宙的一些看法啊。
I think it's still too early for us to talk about having a complete strategy for technology strategy for metaverse. It's still too early to talk about that. But as I say that, it's important for us to stay cool-headed and to find out the path forward and then get prepared step by step. We have a broad range of technology portfolios, including connectivity, computing, cloud services, and devices. And I think that there are a lot that we can do. But David is an expert in this area. I would like him to talk more about this.
正如胡总所说，元宇宙是一个全新的，应该说从概念到技术，很可能是产业，它是一个，处于一个炒作期。我也谈不上是这方面的专家，但是我讲一下，就是说华为现在我们各个产业在为了，就是说这个在元宇宙到来的时候，我们怎么能够联合产业界来共同推动建设一个真正的沉浸式的一个互动的这个虚拟数字世界？华为在各个产业方面我们做的布局，简单给大家报告一下。
As Ken pointed out that the metaverse industry, including the concept and the technology, is now a great hype. I cannot call myself an expert in this regard, but I do have something to share with you. It's how our businesses are getting prepared so that we'll be ready when metaverse really arrives. We would like to work with the industry to support the truly immersive digital world and experience in the future.
通常来说，大家说的元宇宙，可能涉及到一个7层的模型。其实这个7层的模型包括了基础设施层，包括了终端层，包括了它的一个去中心化的服务层，还有空间计算，还有创作平台层，还有应用平台和内容，应用平台还有内容。对于华为来说，其实华为还是围绕着我们长期聚焦的，比如说 ICT 基础设施、云和智能终端，去为元宇宙的发展做出我们作为一个公司能够做出的贡献。
Actually, the metaverse concept involves a 7-level model, and they are the infrastructure, devices, decentralized service layer, spatial computing, creative platform, application platform, and content platform. For us, we'll stay focused on what we have been focused on in the ICT infrastructure, cloud services, and intelligent devices. We insist on our focus, and then we'll contribute our fair share to metaverse.
首先，在基础设施层，其实元宇宙它的发展需要数字世界和物理世界的充分的融合。这样一来，它对实时交互的时延、对通信的上下行的带宽，都会提出更高的要求。同时，它的渲染呢，也需要更大的算力、更多样性的算力。同时呢，就是说这个而且呢，需要把连接和计算进行有机的结合。比如说刚才我们提到的，我们5.5G 的这种愿景，以及呢，我们重定义计算架构，刚才胡总报告里面提到的，其实都是某种程度上为了支撑元宇宙的到来。
For the infrastructure level, to make metaverse a reality, it will have to have a fully converged physical and digital hybrid world. It will raise higher demands for real-time communication, much lower latency, and much higher uplink and downlink bandwidth. To satisfy the needs of the metaverse rendering, it will have to optimize the computing power as well. And there have to be a much better integration between connectivity and computing and optimization. The 5.5G visions that we have advocated, as well as what Ken Hu has talked about in his presentation, redefining the computing architecture, are all part of the broader efforts to help support metaverse in the future.
其实，在终端层，华为主要是在手机、眼镜、穿戴设备，包括一些触感设备等多个方面进行研发和投入。比如说，我们打造了XR 的硬件，包括3D 的空间视频这样的解决方案， 以及我们面向城市级的 AR 场景的河图，这些呢都取得了很大的进展。
On devices, we are making an effort in R&D for the glasses and such wearables as well as tactile devices. And we're working on the SI hardware as well as 3D spatial video. And we have launched Hetu for the city level AR.
在应用和创作平台上，我们主要是基于华为云进行规划和布局。刚才胡总在演讲中提到了华为云的Meta Studio， 其实它就是一个构建一个数字内容的生产线，为数字世界源源不断的创造更有创意的内容，这也是我们能够将来支撑元宇宙发展的一个很好的解决方案。
On application and creative platform, we will provide support through Huawei Cloud Services. As Ken Hu talked about in the presentation, the cloud service called Meta Studio is a case in point. It's essentially a digital content pipeline, and it could be used for developing and creating content for the digital world. And these are all pretty good and impressive solutions for the future metaverse.
但是无论怎么说呢，就是元宇宙它还是一个在早期的概念，包括这个技术概念炒作、技术准备以及产业的定位的这样的一个探索期。我们华为公司其实我们要积极的利用我们在各方面的技术积累，我们愿意和产业界的上下游来共同来探索出元宇宙能够如何更好的服务于无论是 to C 还是 to B 的我们各种场景。我们也希望也期待着这将来这个技术能够给我们的生活和工作带来更多的贡献和价值。谢谢。
But as we have emphasized, metaverse remains in a hype. It is still in the very early phase of figuring out its path forward. It still needs time to explore and figure out the right technologies and get ready with the technologies. And Huawei will continue to leverage our amassed technology and capabilities, and we'll explore together with the different players and partners across the industry to try and identify potential scenarios of application in both B2C and B2B domains. We look forward to the ways that metaverse is going to change our ways of work and life.
Right, thank you. I think we'll have time for one last question from the floor. The gentleman over there in the grey polo shirt. This will be our last question tonight. Thank you, folks.
谢谢。你好，日本广播协会 NHK 的记者，我的提问是关于芯片的。为了解决这个芯片供应链的问题，华为公司有没有自建芯片厂？然后对于这个未来的芯片供应的安全，有没有什么长期的计划？还有最近华为公司申请专利的那个3D 堆叠技术，这个能否减轻美国制裁的这个压力？谢谢。
This is a question from NHK. How will Huawei address the chip supply continuity? Are you building your own chip factories to address the supply issues? And what is your long-term plan for chip supply security? Could you share more about the patent you filed for 3D stacking? Do you think that is able to help you alleviate the pressure from the sanctions?
首先我们华为虽然是现在面临着这个芯片短缺，但是目前我们是没有在自建自己的这个芯片厂的因为我们还是相信这个产业的分工是有它的这个要求的。
It's true that we face a chip shortage, but we have no plans to build chip factories ourselves. We do believe in the reasoning behind the separation of duties across the value chain.
这个你关于这个芯片供应的这个其他的几个问题啊，我想把这个回答最后这个问题的机会啊，就交给这个王涛总啊， 因为王涛的身份呢，他还有一个身份是在这个投影上面投出来的，他也是我们的这个ICT 的产品和解决方案的总裁和这个 IRB 的主任，就是管我们产业投资的，所以他既要考虑到这个遥远的元宇宙对我们的技术要求，也要考虑今天这个技术的供应啊，这些问题怎么解决啊？我相信这个王涛呢可以和你探讨一下这个问题。
I would like to leave the other bits of the question to David, because David has been voted to become the president of the ICT Products and Solution Organization, as well as the director of the IRB, which is an organization that allocates the funds. So David needs to be concerned about the future, the metaverse, but at the same time think about the supply issues as well.
好，感谢胡总。那个芯片这个问题呢，其实可能在过去大家不认为是个问题，但是呢，在最近的几年，由于就是说地缘政治的竞争以及尤其是疫情，这几年使得我们原来赖以生存的一个全球统一的一个产业链条，其实被打破了。现在就是说我们很可能，连我们普通的百姓过去我们从来都不知道有个芯片这个东西。是由于现在我们忽然发现这个地方缺了，那个地方缺了，这个东西买不到了，那个东西买不到了，使得芯片这个问题呢变成大家的关注度越来越高，尤其对于华为公司。
The chip was not a problem back in the old days, but in recent years, because of the impacts of the geopolitics and the pandemic, it's gradually becoming an acute issue. And the globally unified value chain for chips has been disrupted. And for ordinary people, they might not have heard of the chips a lot back in the old days, but now they have heard a lot about the shortage of various kind of chips here and there during the pandemic. And people attach great attention to the chips, and they are very interested in how Huawei is doing.
其实芯片大家看到的是一个芯片，但是芯片的或者说半导体的这个产业链条是十分之长，它涉及到无论包括芯片设计，包括制造上面呢还有 N 多的链条，然后下面的封装啊，后面呢进入系统，它涉及到产业链条可能数十方的这种介入，在这么一个长的链条里面，其实任何一家公司，包括华为公司，我们都不可能自己来解决这个问题。所以呢，就是说芯片的问题真正要解决，需要全产业链条上下游大家共同来解决。而且呢，一定程度上我们也希望我们呢只有依靠一个全球统一的这样的供应链，才能更好解决这个问题。如果说为了由于这样那样的原因，片面的说这个脱钩那个分裂，可能都不利于我们全球在 ICT 产业的发展，只会造成我们的技术的这种演进的缓慢，甚至退步，甚至造成成本的增加，最后把这些成本都会转嫁到我们消费者的身上。
The chip value chain is much more than the piece of chip that we see. The semiconductor value chain is actually a very long one, including several dozens of parties, including those working on the design, the manufacturing. In manufacturing, you see a lot of different tracks as well, and also packaging and those working on the subsystems. So any company, including Huawei, is not able to work out the solution alone for the chip issues. For us to address the chip issues, we have to rely on the efforts of the whole industry. And we believe in the beauty of a globally unified supply chain for chips. And we don't believe the approach of decoupling or fragmentation based on various grounds. We think that it is bad for the ICT industry's development. It could slow down technology development. It may even it may even causes technology to go backwards. And it will lead to higher costs, which will be further passed over to the consumers.
但是另外一个方面呢，其实我们也看到它带来的正向因素。这几年由于芯片的短缺，使得全球各个国家 包括中国，是大家都加大了对半导体制造链条上各个链条的加大的投资。我们也可以看到，这个无论是在中国还是在国外的很多区域，都看到在半导体制造链条上大家各方面的能力都得到提升，然后呢，它的产能也得到提升。我们相信呢，就是说整个芯片的供应链条的这种短缺的情况，可能在几年之内会得到缓解。我们也期待着，就是这样的话呢，就是说这些公司取得成功，自然的话了，华为的问题也就解决了。
But also in this context, a lot of the countries in the world, including China, have started to make more investments in the semiconductor value chain, covering the different linkages along the value chain. And these countries and regions around the world are now improving their capabilities and capacities for the semiconductors. So we believe that there is a possibility that the chip shortage issue can be addressed in a few years. We really hope that these companies will succeed, and if they can succeed, they will help address Huawei's problem for the chips.
但是呢，我们也理解，就是最近我们有一些朋友、客户、伙伴关注华为、支持华为，就是担心在这种情况下，华为的产品会不会落后了？其实我正如刚才胡总所介绍的，我负责我们在 ICT 领域的产品的这个开发和研发的投资，就是我可以比较肯定的告诉应该是我们的客户以及我们的伙伴，其实华为的创新手段，我们是一个立体的、全方位的，或者换句话讲，华为是用系统工程的方法来进行我们的产品的研发，就是包括就是我们前不久在年报我们的郭总提到的。包括刚才胡总也提了，这个是我们通过多种方式，我们实现我们基础理论的重构，我们的软件的重构、硬件的重构，或者说我们在设计一个产品的时候，我们往往会从系统架构方面、从算法方面、从软件的这个方面，包括呢我们的光器件、包括我们的射频技术等全方位的来重构一个领先的产品。应该说我们有信心应该说在未来这几年，我们一直在保持我们的主力产品的领先，然后为我们的客户持续创造价值。
The customers and partners have been supporting us, and they have shown interest in our efforts and business, and they wonder if these problems could cause Huawei to lag behind in the product advancement. As Ken Hu has talked about, I am managing the development of ICT products and solutions. I'm also in charge of the R&D investment decisions. So I would like to say to the partners and customers, please feel rest assured. We have a whole holistic approach for product and for the innovation in products and solutions. Or to put it in other words, we have taken an approach of systems engineering to R&D. As Mr. Guo said in the conference of releasing the annual report, and as Ken just said, we have the various ways to ensure product innovation, including the efforts on exploring the basic theories, our re-engineering efforts in both software and hardware. When we design the products and solutions, we think about how to optimize the whole system's performance. We think about what we can do in algorithms, in software, and we think about the efforts we can make in optical technologies and the RF technologies. So it's a whole holistic system of efforts that we are making to ensure the advancement of our products and solutions. We have confidence in the upcoming years to maintain very competitive mainstream products of our business. We are very confident in continuing to deliver value to our customers in the coming years.
具体到刚才这位来自 NIGK 的先生提到的一个那个专利的问题，其实呢就是说这是业界比较通用的，就是说华为公司在这方面我们有多年的积累，我们基于芯片3D 堆叠或者3D 封装或者叫 chiplet 这种技术，其实来实现在制程相对可能不是那么最领先的情况下，做出最领先的芯片或者系统， 这些技术呢，华为公司有多年的积累。应该说，你提到的专利也是我们2019年就申请的专利，在这方面呢，就是说，当然我们创新的由于我们长期的在这领域里面的投资，我们创新的这个资源和专利，甚至我们的这个武器库，还是比较多的，应该说，我们有信心来就是一直提供领先的产品和方案来服务我们的客户和伙伴。谢谢。
And as for the second question that the gentleman from NHK raised, it's about the patent we filed. It is a general purpose technology, and it's called 3D packaging or chiplet technology for the chips. And we have years of accumulation of capabilities in figuring out how we can develop leading chips or systems while we don't have access to the most advanced processes. We actually filed that patent in 2019, and we have a number of innovations and patents due to the heavy investments we have made in R&D for a very long time in the past. And we are very confident in continuing to provide leading products and solutions to our customers and partners. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we have time for today. I'd like to thank our speakers on stage, Mr. Ken Hu, Mr. David Wong, our earlier speaker, Dr. Zhou Hong, and last but not least, our interpreter, Liu Rei. As you can tell from today's presentations, Huawei is committed to continuous innovation and is building a fully connected, intelligent world that's adding value for all of our business partners. If you'd like to find out more about our future developments and some of the products and services that we have, please join our breakout sessions tomorrow. But for today, that's everything we have time for. If you have any further questions, please be a member of Huawei's communication team. But for now, let's thank you and goodbye.
谢谢大家，感谢台上的胡厚昆先生、汪涛先生以及此前发言的周红博士。华为致力于持续创新，创建万物互联的智能世界，为业务伙伴创造价值，为客户提供全新的产品和体验。如果大家对我们的产品服务感兴趣，欢迎参加我们明天举办的各个 session。那今天的会议到此结束。如果各位还有其他的疑问，请联系华为的沟通团队。谢谢。